go. Got it. We got it. Okay, now we're live. That was weird. I just had to let YouTube load and open it, and then as soon as I opened it, it started. All right. Okay. Well, we'll do the intro again, I guess.
All right.
What's up, everybody? This is BIA Gamecast. Welcome. We're just two bros sit and talk about gaming, what's going on in the industry, and just talk about the hobby that we love. So I'm Crazy Mate Gaming.
I'm Infinite AA Gaming.
Yeah, and hope you enjoy. What are we gonna start with then, bro?
Well, let's just talk about this week.
Yeah.
Next gen's here. Xbox Series X and S launched yesterday. The PlayStation 5 launches tomorrow. So there's a lot of news going to be coming out about. There's a lot of news that has come out about these consoles, and there's a lot of news that's going to be coming out about these consoles.
Oh yeah.
So we could talk about that.
Yeah. Talk about what we know. What is going on this week. So what are your thoughts? What you got to say, bro?
Well, EA Play arrived as part of the Game Pass, and some news that has dropped regarding the Game Pass that we need to talk about. I mean, it's not like game-changing news, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah, some things like the
Games,
Game Pass, the
yeah.
games that are
So
out. All right,
games that are
let's.
out, games that are coming, games that have been announced recently, whether they be small or not.
Yeah. So we can start with what do we know about the Series X and S? What's coming out there? We have Valhalla. We know that. We've got uh, Watchdog Legions that just came out as well. Valhalla's coming out. I think. Is it coming out this weekend or tonight? When is it coming out?
When
I'm not sure.
Watch
Yeah.
Dogs or Valhalla.
Valhalla. Watch.
Valhalla was out the 10th. Valhalla was out yesterday.
Oh yeah, last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you planning on playing those? Do
So
we know if we
here's
can play them on last gen consoles? Like,
you can play, yes, anything like that. You can play Valhalla and um Watch Dogs Legions. That is a tongue twister, I'll tell you that much.
yeah,
You could play both of those on the Xbox One or the Xbox Series consoles, and they both have smart delivery.
that's good. That's good. But it's like I was really thinking like getting the S, like, because the S just seems so much better. Because I want to play that on next gen. I prefer to wait and play it on next gen. There's stuff that's going that I'm playing right now, and I'm fine, but with waiting, you know. But I want to play both those. I got Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, anything else that's that's come out.
Available now.
That's
Like
available
I'm
now.
pretty
Yeah,
sure Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics is available to play on console now. Dirt 5 is available to play on
yes,
console on the Xbox Series S and X, as well as NBA, FIFA, Yakuza, and everything on Game Pass Ultimate, obviously. But right now, those are the main games being talked about. I need to look more into the Falconeer. I'm pretty dang sure the Falconeer is out.
yeah. Well, they said this is like their biggest launch lineup. Like what? It's a lot of backwards compatibility that's in
The
it.
Falconeer is out. The Falconeer's out. Okay, so the thing with the whole mantra of the biggest launch lineup in console launch history, is they are indeed touting backwards compatibility as part of their launch title. They are indeed touting Game Pass as part of their launch
I
title.
know,
So when
and
they say they have 4,000 plus titles, when they say they have thousands and thousands, right, of launch games for you to play, they're not next gen launch games.
technically,
They're through the backwards
technically
compatibility.
they're right. This is the biggest launch, but what I would love to see is, and I believe this is gonna come down the line with all the studios they definitely have now. I want a launch lineup that's actual new games, not just a bunch of old games. Just a ton of new games that different genres for just everybody. That there's no matter what type of gamer you are, what type of game you like, you can jump in on day one and have 1-2 games that new games that you're gonna want to get and play. But we'll see that. But right now is that everything they've got besides all the backwards compatibility stuff?
Well, they have the that one game that was on PC, the first person shooter.
Oh,
Bright Memory. Okay, they have Bright Memory 1.0, but they don't have Bright Memory Infinite. That's not coming out till later.
Bright Memory Infinite is a storyline.
Yeah.
Story.
So just the multiplayer of Bright Memory, right, is out on. It's not on Game Pass. I did not think so. But it's out on the Series X and the Series S, right?
Yeah.
So we could play Bright Memory 1.0, but we can't play Bright Memory Infinite yet.
Is that cross
gen? I do believe so.
Cross-platform. What about
I do not know. Cross-platform? I believe so as well.
Could I play with you when I'm on my PC and you're on your Series S? And is it only next gen consoles, or is it?
I do not believe that it's only next gen consoles. I think it is cross-platform.
Cross-gen, cross-platform. Because that would be fun to play. Get into that, and then maybe eventually when the story comes out, if it's a co-op mode, play it with you. I think that would be really fun.
I think that would be fun too. There's some good multiplayer. It's got some wall running. I like wall running.
Yeah,
I will admit.
There's some other games we got to get through though. We just got to play, bro. But that's like generally launch lineup for Series X and S, and just that's releasing slowly out within the launch window. Anything else?
There is more stuff to talk about
with the
Game Pass,
lineup.
EA Play.
Well, yeah.
So
let's go to that. Yeah, Game Pass and EA Play.
So if we're talking specifically games right now, then we'll the perks, the Game Pass perks, and the program through that. We'll talk about that later. But the games right now on EA Play, we can play EA Play games now. You can go and download Battlefield, Bad Company, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5. It is in Game Pass. No additional cost. Go on there, download EA games. But the biggest news that has come out about this is that the Star Wars game that came out last year is now part of Game Pass and EA Play. Well, it's part of EA Play, and EA Play is part of Game Pass. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I didn't know that. When did they announce this? Because of Jedi? It's Jedi Fallen Order,
Monday.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
It was on Monday.
I was looking at that game and that seems like so much fun. Because I love Star Wars. I love the fantasy universes, and any fantasy universe I can jump myself into. Like, I'm playing Shadow of War right now, which I played a little bit of Shadow of Mordor, but I didn't finish it, it's kind of making me want to go back and finish it. But I love Lord of the Rings and that universe, and just playing that, and then I love the Star Wars universe. And
right.
Any of those games, just the multiplayer doesn't really interest me that much, But the story modes, campaigns, do, and that I'm gonna have to download that and play that now. But that's actually really big. No additional cost.
That is big in my opinion.
Is it a free trial, or what's is there? What's the
So let's
catch?
get into this. Um, as far as I know right now, EA Play is in Game Pass to stay. It could be a time thing for a year, but I will tell you this: it is not just a month trial. It's not just a month trial. It is in there to stay for now until
I
possibly leaves. But
I
as far
think
as I
this is what they're
understand,
doing
it
because
will.
of this. Like, you kind of merge them together, but you still have to sign up for EA Play, and you're in their ecosystem still. They're setting up their own
Nope,
ecosystem. No, with it, no. It's
nope.
through Game Pass. You don't have to
It
sign
is
into.
through Game Pass.
Huh.
You do not need to sign into EA Play. I don't even have an EA Play account, and I downloaded an EA Play game. Last night, I downloaded the first Unravel, downloaded it straight from the Game Pass tiles on my Xbox One X, and I downloaded the game, and I would have played it, but we were playing Unravel 2 while that was downloading, because I own Unravel 2 and have since 2018.
Yeah, yeah. That's that seems so unreal. Already Game Pass like seems so unreal. But still, it's like they tout the biggest launch lineup ever, and for a lot of people, like you can kind of see it from both sides. I'm kind of looking at it from a different perspective. Some is like, okay, I haven't played a lot of these new recent games, or I'm a casual gamer, and I'm going into this, and my options are just endless. With Game Pass, just with Game Pass,
They
if I
are.
have Game Pass, because you have EA Play, you have UPlay, right?
All right. No, no Uplay. No Uplay.
No UPlay. It should.
Uplay is not in Game Pass.
Oh no, what's it? What is it? Is what's the other one? That's like the service. Is it?
So their only services Game Pass has that is a third party collaborative effort that it deals with games is EA Play. The other one that they have is Disney Plus. We can talk about this now. Disney Plus is being added to Game Pass Ultimate as a perk. As a
Yeah.
perk,
Okay.
they've done perks in the past. They did perks for EA Play, right? I think they did perk for Hulu or something. But anyways, it's a 30-day free trial, and it's to market The Mandalorian and Xbox, the launching of the Series X and the Series S, The Mandalorian 2.0, whatever, the
That's
second chapter.
that's
But
pretty cool
it's a
too.
30-day free
For
trial. I don't know how if you can redeem it for life, like if you can let it sit there and then like next year if I didn't
no, I
redeem my
don't
30
think
days
so.
redeem it. I don't
I
think
think
so. I
it's
think it'll end by the
limited
end of the year.
time. Yeah, but
No, it was Discord. They did a perk through with Discord,
Discord
the
Nitro. Yeah,
premium,
that's what it
whatever.
was.
Yeah, Discord Nitro, and they did a perk with EA Play, but EA Play is no longer a perk because
Okay, it's
EA
EA Play.
Play is now part of Game Pass.
Yeah.
So you asked me a question, crazy mate. You asked me if I plan on buying these games. So I do not plan on buying games right now. And if I were,
Yeah.
I'd probably buy the new Call of Duty game. I'm not planning on buying
And you don't have
Valhalla.
to.
Exactly. I'm not planning on buying Valhalla. I'm not planning on buying Dirt. I'm not planning on buying Watch Dogs. I'm planning on playing games through Game Pass because there's so many games that I haven't played that are in Game Pass, and as well as playing my back catalog of games that I do own because I don't need to look at these games coming out and play them as they come out when I can go back to them later. Yeah, people can talk about the news and be like, oh, well, you play them as everyone is experiencing them. Well, I like to play games at my own pace. I like to play games when I feel like playing them. And right now, I have a back catalog I'm playing. Plus, Game Pass is just,
It's just
it's, I got to get my money's worth out of it, which isn't hard. And
well, yeah,
there's so many good indie
there's
games,
so many options with it. It's
so many
so
options.
vast
And with
and
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order being added in, a game that I haven't played yet because I didn't own it on Xbox. And yeah, I had it on PlayStation. Um, and PlayStation 4 Slim through game sharing or whatever, but I didn't want to play it on PlayStation. I didn't want to use that controller. I didn't want to do it through someone else's account, pretty much, right?
yeah, especially
And
Xbox is your place to play, and that's where you play all third party games. It's like
I will reserve the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 when I eventually get it. I will reserve that for first party games. The Xbox is my place to play third party games. So that said.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like the real hardcore that just play every single game or the majority of the games that come out that year, and of course everybody has a back catalog. Everybody does.
Yeah,
Games
exactly.
that they stopped, didn't didn't get back to, or didn't get to at all because they were busy playing other games when they have lots of games to come out. But Game Pass and the thing is like, I don't worry. Yeah, I somewhat worry kind of about like if it's like, oh, when is it gonna leave Game Pass? And especially I did that with the first Doom, 2016 Doom. Uh,
You played in fear of it leaving.
Yes, I played a little bit, and because I didn't want to leave, but it's not going anywhere anymore. It's staying in
Yeah,
along with Doom Eternal,
it will.
and
You're
they're
right.
giving us more and more and more, and there's already so many amazing games for me to play with that I play without Game Pass, but it's just it's a lot of gaming, it's a lot of fun, it's a no brainer really.
So it Game Pass is amazing. Having a catalog of games to play and choose from makes perfect sense. And I want to actually get into a feature on the Xbox Series X and S that you do not get on the Xbox One. That people call this just a small feature. I don't think the PlayStation 5 has anything like this, but it could be a game-changing feature, especially for the Xbox ecosystem. You know what I'm talking about?
No, not me. I can't quite
Quick
think of it.
quick play.
Quick,
Quick play,
quick
like
resume,
quick resume, yeah.
quick resume, quick play. I was kind of thinking that, but wasn't sure. But yeah,
So,
let's get into that, bro. Talk about it.
well, with quick resume, I called it quick play. That was my bad. It is quick resume. With quick resume and Game Pass together, you can play a game on quick resume and say, "This is fun, but right now I'm in the mood to play this." Go to Game Pass, play that game. You have all these games through Game Pass. Let's just say you got the Series S, you're getting back into Xbox, you didn't want to buy games, so you just got a subscription to the Game Pass Ultimate, right? Let's just say that. Um, because the EA Play games are reserved for the Ultimate and not regular Game Pass. Anyways, so you download a bunch of games, you play a little bit of one, you're like, I like it, but let's check some other things out. You go to the next game you download, you play that, and then you're like, I like it, but let's check some other things out. So then you go to the next game you play and you play that. And then you're like, well, these are two games that I've tried after that first one are pretty fun, but I think that first one was the one that caught me the most, and I want to play that to the end. Or I want to play some more of that and maybe come back to this. So then
I didn't
you
think
just
about
click on
that.
the game and you're automatically back where you're at. It doesn't matter whether it's an RPG. It doesn't matter whether it was an indie game. It doesn't matter what the loading times are like. You're automatically where you left off in that game.
I had never really thought about that. Is really interesting and cool. That is a huge feature that's going to help. It's basically you're going to be able to try betas or just try a game, a little bit of a game, get to know what you're getting into quickly, and you could do multiple of those. Or like, okay, this doesn't seem like my type. Just immediately go into another game. Or yeah, this seems a little bit interesting. Let me try something else. Or to see what you're going to play, what you want to play next. And that ability to fastly switch between and not really have to wait for them to uh, boot up all the way on like a normal hard drive.
Hard drive,
Yeah,
mechanical hard drive. Yeah, that is a big feature that I am excited for. So we can we talk about next gen. It's here. I talked about how the Xbox Series S and X launched yesterday and that the PlayStation 5 launched tomorrow. Not everyone's going to jump in at once. People might want to know about the differences between the Series S and the Series X, or like what the differences between the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox consoles are. And we could talk about that
Yes,
because
yeah, I
there's
was thinking that. Talk about the difference between the S and the X, and kind of what you should go for, really, and people just some people, the toxic people, look down on the S and say, "What the crap is? Why does that even exist? Who needs this?" And that's lots of people. Lots of people are gonna buy it. It's going to be the top seller because even now, for me, after I was thinking about it, yes, I want the X. I want all the amazing features that the X has, but I don't really need that now, and especially I don't have a TV that's going to be able to take advantage of all the features that it offers. So, just even going down to the S, you've got ray tracing, 60 frames, or it's like Watch Dogs Legions has really good ray tracing and 60 frames, or is it 30 frames on the S? I think it might be 30 frames.
Watchdog Legions might be
It
30 frames.
It's 30 frames, yeah. But so you got 60 frame capabilities, 60 frames. You've got, and resolution really doesn't 1080p. It works. I don't mind it. It's things can still look really beautiful and really good in 1080p, in my opinion. But I haven't really gone and experienced the 4K and all these really high resolution TVs, fidelity, high fidelity TVs or anything like that. But I'm fine with it, and I think things still look good. But that 60 frames, ray tracing can make everything look better. It's a massive leap. It's still a good leap. It's still a really good leap from the X from the Xbox One X, even to the Series S. And for the price,
okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I need to stop you right there. The massive leap. That's a misleading information, and I think you were a little bit misinformed on that.
Well,
That
that's what
the
I said. It's
RDNA
not
two.
like a massive leap, but that's what
It
I was
all
trying to say.
depends on what
From
you're
the X
looking
to
for.
the S isn't a massive leap, but in some instances it is a good size.
In some instances, it is, but it's not a massive leap when you think about certain aspects.
Okay, I'm talking about the X. Not everybody that has the X. A lot of people that got the X probably gonna get the Series X as well.
Yes.
So you look at people that have the S or the OG Xbox
One.
OG Xbox One. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is the leap from even the X to the S it's still a good leap, but you go back even and then to the Xbox One S and then the OG Xbox One. It just gets that leap gets a lot bigger in the ability to experience the new technologies and ray tracing, 60 frames, things you've never experienced before on gaming because you're a console only gamer and your console just didn't have the power to do it. You're gonna be blown away, and then that's where people are gonna think of it's a massive leap when they look at the differences from what they've experienced. For some people, it's not a massive leap. Some people, it's still it's a better leap, but and you take everything into account, like the bottleneck isn't there and stuff like that, but it's
I have a lot to say on this topic.
Okay, that's what I was gonna try to say. The leap between based on people's experiences of that, what they're gonna think of that, and it's a lot of people just going from what they're out to the S. They're gonna be happy and satisfied with it. I truly believe that.
Let's not talk about a leap. Let's talk about differences and the experience you get with each one.
Okay.
Yes. So, what you said is not wrong. I'm not trying to downplay anything you just said, It's true. But there's some clarification I want to point out in that instance, right? I want to clarify that people who have a 1X should not jump up and go buy a Series S automatically. I think it'd be in their best interest to buy a Series X over a Series S. But it also depends on what you are looking for. Are you looking for high fidelity, high graphically intense games? Are you looking for the full package of next gen? The best of the best and the best. Or are you just wanting to play games and don't necessarily care about graphically intense games with super high resolutions? The best of the best when it comes to graphics and resolutions for console at the beginning of this gen. Do you care about that? Because if you don't really care about that much, but you want next gen features, then go to a Series S. Because the Series S is going to give you more, right? More when it comes to the CPU power, the memory bandwidth, right? And the SSD. All in harmony too. So when you look at the raw numbers of the Series S versus the Xbox One X, you'll be like, well, they both have about the same amount of RAM, right? They both have about, well, I believe the Series S has 8 gigabytes of GDDR6, and then the Xbox One X has 9 gigabytes of GDDR5, right?
Yeah.
So they're really close in the amount of RAM that it has. But one thing to point out is that the Series S has GDDR6 instead of GDDR5, better RAM, a little bit less, but they don't have to allocate 4K textures as part of the RAM package. That's not a thing. As well as when you take the harmony of the Velocity architecture with the CPU, the Zen 2 CPU, and the fast lightning speeds of the SSD, altogether, you're going to get a better performance package when it comes to memory bandwidth and I/O output. Like, that's just fact. So, if you want a next-gen experience and you're okay with 1440p or 1080p in a lot of instances, because some people will not optimize for the Series S and they will use the 1S version, and you will be getting a 1080p game, or even in some instances maybe 900p, right? And then maybe if they add an upscaling feature for the Series S to upscale to 1440p instead of just the upscale to 4K if you're using a 4K TV. But that's most likely not going to happen due to the fact that 1440p displays aren't really common except for in the PC industry. Sure, you can buy a monitor and hook your Xbox up to it, and that's actually what I plan to do with my Series S, because I want to get the most out of my Series S. And I'm fine switching from an X to an S for now because I don't care about the 4K,
I'm the same way. I already game on a monitor too that's already capable of even 120 frames and 440p. For me, it's like, yeah, I want to get the S, and after really thinking about it, because I like the console better.
Do you have a 1440p monitor or a 1080p monitor?
Not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it's 1440p.
See, someone with a 1440p monitor that has 120 hertz refresh rate or motion rate or whatever you want to call it, this is an upgrade from a 1S, and in a lot of instances, it is an upgrade from 1X.
Yeah. Well, I have the S right now, and I want that's what I'm talking. I want that upgrade, just even that little bit amount. And it's like I'm looking at it's like okay, there's an SSD on it, so I'm not gonna be sacrificing that for my PC. The ray
Right.
tracing, the hardware accelerated ray tracing that's even just on the S. My PC's not capable of ray tracing. It's just not, and just everything else. The CPU is probably better than what I've got. Got 1070 or 1060.
Right. So the question, I was kind of hoping to get to the whole, like, I was kind of hoping to do the Series X and the Series S comparisons after we did PlayStation, 5 versus Xbox Series consoles comparisons, but we can still get there, right? Um, we're just taking a different avenue. With the
Yeah.
Series S and the Series X, it's a jump into next gen. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is. Next gen is not all about resolution and fidelity. Next gen is not all about graphically intense games. Yes, that is a big part of next gen, but that's not all it's about. There's some major key things, and they've taken data from gamers around the world for years. What do gamers care about? They want to be immersed in a game. What takes them out of immersion? When games don't feel right. You know, you're
Things
playing
don't
a
feel
game and it
right.
doesn't
Don't
feel
load
right.
right.
When there's low latency, when there's quote unquote lag, or when there's low frames, you know what I mean? When things just are slow, when to get slow loading times takes you out of the experience. People don't want that. People
Oh,
don't care about fidelity necessarily, like some people do, but it's about how a game feels, and Phil Spencer's been touting this for a while now. When you take the harmony of it all and you say, when you talk to developers, there was this interview with Jason Ronald that Cole Eastwood did, right? And he asked them, he's like, so when he asks Jason Ronald and says, so with the Series S, you know, coming out, and people have already done reviews on the Series S because this was an interview he did over the weekend on Sunday or something. Um, what is it about the Series S that makes it a compelling console, and what about it makes it? Do you think will make it work as a next gen console? And this is what Jason Ronald said. I'm gonna paraphrase him because I'm not going to outright quote him. I don't have that up to read it or watch the video or whatever, right? But he says when we talk to developers about what they want, what makes games easier to develop, what what makes it so that they can their their vision is realized, right? They say, well, what holds you back, especially about this gen? What has been the thing that has held you back the most? They say CPU, hard drives. You know what I mean? They say
oh yeah.
the
Hard drives are huge.
CPU
Hard drives are
being,
slow.
yeah, like you said, they're slow. So when and and scalability, let's talk about scalability. When he talks about what is the hardest to scale, they say, well, it's really hard to scale different CPU profiles. It takes a lot of work, and developers just don't really have time to do that. Yeah, I get it. People do it in the PC space all the time, but you got to think about the APIs are different in the PC space. When you think about that, it's like the PC operating systems do that in the background a lot easier than the console operating systems do. And the API on that and what is a part of the API, it's already been set for scalability on CPUs a lot easier. And that when they're building games from the ground up, that if they have a CPU profile to hit and they want things that hold them back. When you have a bad CPU, your game, you see this in the PC industry all the time. What makes frames drop? Why are my frames dropping? I have this lightning fast SSD, right? I have this graphics card that's freaking amazing. Why are my frames dropping? You need the best of the best CPU as well because
Yeah,
it all
it's
works
the
in
trio.
tandem, right?
Amazing trio of
Yeah.
speed.
an amazing trio. So if you think about scalability, and he asked developer this, what is the easiest to scale and what holds you back the most? They say CPU holds us back the most, and the easiest thing to scale is graphics. We can down res and change graphical effects like ambient occlusion, ray tracing, and all this stuff a lot easier, right? A lot easier than we can change profiles for different PCUs, and it really makes our game tampers our game that people running older CPUs, or when we have to make a game for a console that has older CPUs, that they just don't run as smooth. So we've been stuck with 30 frames per second a lot of this gen, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
that 60 frames has been it's not an expectation for this gen. It's an outlier. It's like you get 60 frames per second. Yes, awesome. Most of the time, it's only happening with first-person shooters or shooters in general, or things that need that quick time. Like that
Yes,
fast
yes.
refresh rate, that fast fluid gameplay, right? But the thing is, we don't have to be held back by 30 frames per second games anymore. It's 60 frames or 120. Why do we the if Watch Dogs Legions doesn't run at 60 frames, then they need to scale back their their graphical effects. They need to scale back things like ambient occlusion,
But a lot of
lighting
people, a lot
effects
of
like ray
developers
tracing.
may not want to do that. They may think of that as part of their vision of making just a beautiful game. And then the
That
frames, they put more into that, and they're like, okay, we can lock the frames at 30, and we have more to work with making it look better or adding in the ray tracing, like what Watch Dogs Legions did.
Okay, yes, you're right. Some developers may not like that, may not be their vision. But the issue I see with that is what makes people want to play games. Some people might not be okay with 30 frames per second, but if you can scale back just enough to get to 60 frames with these powerhouses of consoles, right? Mainly the Series X when you're talking about
If you
graphical
can give people
effects,
the option,
right?
is what we want. All we want is the
An
option because not
option.
everybody's the
Performance
same.
modes.
Yes,
Yeah.
not everybody's the same. Not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody's okay. Some people are like, I'm fine with 30 frames. I want an amazing, just beautiful game. Uh, or there's lots of people that are like, I want it's minimum 60 frames for me, or I'm not gonna play it like that. They're so used to it, and just they've experienced it a lot more, or it's just it's more immersive for them.
Right.
But the option, that's all I'm saying. Just give people
An
options.
option. That's this next gen is a massive thing about next gen is options. More options than ever before, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But when you're talking about games like this, right? You say the Series S, well, if you want to make a game for Xbox and you want to get the most players and you want to realize a graphically intense game, right? Why can't you have the best of both worlds? Why can't you have the game graphically intense for the Series X and try to hit 60 frames and if not 30, right? Or still make your game for the Series S and still realize your vision. Make the performance good and have it a 1080p to 1440p game. You're cutting back on a lot of assets that are taking up memory bandwidth, that are taking up GPU horsepower, right?
I think
So,
another thing is like they already kind of did it with ray tracing. With the hardware accelerated ray tracing, they give yourself an extra hardware based thing that does the performance of that particular. Uh, I don't. I don't know how like things this all uh, game development works. This is just a thought of they have the hardware accelerated ray tracing. Give other hardware based options to put to maybe be able to get you and boost you up to 60 frames, get you that focuses on that, and then they'll have all that CPU bandwidth and power for what they want. I don't know. That's just
It all comes down to optimization. When you have the velocity architecture that's supposed to work in tandem with all three things and not sectioning them off, then you can say, well, the SSD or no, the CPU is getting overpowered right now. It doesn't have the bandwidth per se to handle all of this. Well, you offload some of it onto the SSD, right? Especially with stuff like variable rate shading, you know? All these new features and the fact to have full RDNA 2 on the Xbox compared to the PlayStation 5, and it's on both Xbox consoles. You have features that help you with game development. You
yeah.
have machine learning. You have mesh shaders. And
And
yeah,
it's just going to get better. There's probably going to be a lot more. Even I was talking about hardware, but going to the software that's going to become available. It already is available for uh, that helps developers just have more options to be able to do more things and not held back as much.
yeah. So the difference between the Series X and the Series S really comes down to, what do you care about? Do you care about high fidelity games? Or are you okay with having lots of games maybe run at 1080p that aren't optimized for one? Let's not be that type of person that says all games on the Series S are going to run at 1080p. No, they are not. If you buy a 1440p monitor and you buy an Xbox Series X, I do expect that games coming out in the future will run mostly at 1440p. And if they want to really go as graphically intense as they possibly can with the Series S, then they'll scale down to 1080p. But we will not see subpar, sub 1080p games. We
You're
will
popping a little
it will
bit,
be
bro.
Ultra HD, huh?
You're popping a little bit, like your mic. It's popping.
Huh. Well, hopefully that stops. But
Go on.
so
Sorry to interrupt you.
it's okay. So, and the thing too is people are like, well, is it always about the feature set? Well, it is, but not always. What if you don't want a massive console? What if you like the smaller size consoles and you still want to play next gen? What if this does matter to you? It doesn't matter to me, to be honest, but what if it doesn't matter to you? The Series S is a smaller, sleeker console than the Series X. It's it's smaller and sleeker than, obviously, the Series X and the Series S are smaller than PlayStation 5 in a lot of regards, because when you talk about like how fat the Xbox Series X is, not necessarily tall or deep. Like, it's got like,
A cube.
yeah,
It's a cube.
but the size matters too. Maybe not as much. And also, the elephant in the room. If you're a disc-based person, you don't want the Series S. It's not a thing. You're gonna get the PlayStation 5 digital, non-digital edition, the disc version, or you're gonna get the Xbox Series X, and you're gonna be paying $500 for each of those. So ultimately, it comes down to what matters to you as a gamer. And that's what this whole gen is, and that's what pretty much every gen has been. When you look at the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, what did people want? People wanted games. That's why they went and bought PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah.
People wanted power. That's why they bought a PlayStation 4.
I see
It's
this
like,
gen. I see this gen, to summarize it, as options.
uh-huh,
Generation of options. And it's just going to get more and more down the line. More games. And especially if they do, like, even just, uh, like on a PC, you can go through and just scale everything yourself, kind of. I would love to see that. The options of
right.
doing raising up your like your a performance mode and stuff like that, even just like a performance mode minimum, but it's just like scaling menus like that you have on a PC. Be able to I can see that happening with this next gen console, these next gen consoles. Just the more we get into it.
That is something. So the scalability factor is a big thing, and consoles turning, I don't want to say turning into a PC, but they're blurring the lines between PCs and consoles, right? That's another thing, especially with crossplay becoming a big thing, right? As well as, new options that consoles have never had, you know, and even things like machine learning the PC space doesn't have. The Xbox Series X and S do.
There's just options. It's just making more options for the gamers, more options for the developers. It's just all around the generation of just options. But
as well, when you talk about options,
what you were talking about.
When you talk about options, you're 100% right, because you have the cloud. You have the cloud, and whenever 5G rolls out, people will be playing games on 5G. They'll be playing at lightning speeds, just like they're playing on Series X or the Series S, right? And it won't be as graphically intense because you're still running through servers and stuff. But they'll be playing games on the go, like Switch, like whole Razer Kishi Switch, like controller. They're gonna have that as well as being able to play on a PC. Let's either stream games on PC, download games on PC through Game Pass, buy games on PC. When the smart TVs have apps, that's a thing you could do, and most likely will come out. That'll be an option for people not even to have to buy a console and still subscribe to Game Pass and play games. As well as another thing that you brought up in the past, and I do agree with you, and I think this is coming, is this whole cloud gaming thing, and xCloud isn't being sectioned off to phones and TVs and PC.
Oh, no. Nope.
And say the console is always going to be just a hardware-based thing. I think they will implement cloud techniques in hardware to make things run better, and you're going to start running at least even just maybe some assets of games through the cloud to offload. They will offload a lot of the processes, the hardware bottlenecks,
yes,
or whatever it is
that's why
at the
I
time.
can see if even if they keep the S, that the more technology
The
they
Xbox
have.
One S.
Yeah, the One S. Keep the One S. The more technology that advances through xCloud, I can see it possibly, maybe not with the S, maybe with next gen, but being able to have cross-gen games, like the lines of generations just completely gone because of you have the better hardware in the server racks, and it's taking a lot of the power that your older console or older hardware can't handle, and then you can still have all these same features and nothing is going to be held back. Because people talk about how, the Series S is going to hold back the X because it's less powerful, or if it comes out on any of the one consoles, but if it's a new game, it's supposed to be a new game, you're holding things back because you're putting it on the old consoles. Maybe not. Through the power of xCloud, where they do the heavy lifting on their server racks through xCloud, well, you have to be connected to the internet, of course. You can play the same exact. There's like say like I'm playing Shadow of War right now. You have the Nemesis system that wasn't in the original one.
That's only part of the X. and the
I'm
S,
pretty
the
sure.
S and the
I'm
X.
pretty sure it might only be part of the X and on PC.
It might have to deal with clock speeds.
Yes. Uh, and they couldn't do that, but through xCloud you possibly could.
See, there's a misconception with this generation and the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. A lot of people think the only difference between the Xbox One and the Xbox One S is that they ditched the power brick and that they made it a smaller and sleeker form, right?
No,
That's
they
not the truth. They actually did slightly change some hardware things.
they
Like they
optimize it
upped clock
better.
speed.
Yes.
They they changed frequencies. Like when it came to the CPU, it is more powerful. The CPU is more powerful, not by a ton, you know. It's more powerful than the original one, and the GPU is slightly more powerful than the one, not by a ton, right? And then they also have a faster, mechanical drive. So that's also faster than the original one, not by much. And even the Xbox One X has an even faster mechanical drive. It's 7,200 RPMs compared to the original one's like 5,000 RPMs.
Yeah. Yeah, I see even that, but I think it's the more with the X Cloud. I think that's. I don't think. I don't think hardware is going away. Hardware's not. The console's not going to go away. It's just going
No.
to be accelerated through or X through X Cloud basically, to where the mobile gaming or whatever. It's not going to work. You're always going to want the base hardware, but if your hardware is not powerful enough to do the what's capable or what's needed, not capable, what's needed for these next gen games, because of the CPU is just not there. Through xCloud, you could possibly do it and not lose any features. I could see that happening.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing the next gen could bring. So we've been talking a lot about Xbox when it comes to next gen. I want to move the focus a little bit over to PlayStation as well. We can't forget about PlayStation jumping into
Nope.
next gen with a lot of different ideas and how generations work. And I'm not gonna
I'm I'm
blast PlayStation
I'm not
for
either. I'm
having
excited to
leaks.
see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with this next gen and what Xbox, the difference between the two, what way they're gonna go. And I know PlayStation's games are incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see. Of course, we have have our criticisms, but we have our criticisms of Xbox as well.
So in certain instances, quite a few of them, PlayStation actually has the edge, right? Xbox is still behind because people are going to go out in droves and buy a PlayStation 5, just like they are the Series X and S, but with more of a hardcore fan base with the PlayStation 5 and Miles Morales, Spider-Man being as big as it is, and that being on there day one in a new game. Let's just call it a new game, even though I think it's a glorified
DLC.
DLC, you know, optimized for next gen. Whatever. Call it whatever you want. They have Demon Souls. They have a game. They still have the Japanese audience. That's a
Yeah,
thing too,
Ratchet and Clank,
right?
is that coming out or is that did that get delayed?
Demon Souls or what?
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank will be coming out next year.
Okay.
It's still a thing that they have on paper, right? The higher SSD speeds, specs.
Yeah.
So we even though even though this is a news that came out earlier this week that the SSD speeds on backwards compatibility, that the Series X was outperforming in a lot of games that than the PlayStation 5, despite the fact that PlayStation 5's raw hardware specs, you know, for the SSD are better. But that could be a play that they built in backwards compatibility through the Xbox ecosystem for many years, and they've integrated it better in velocity architecture than PlayStation 5 did in their Kraken architecture. I want to talk about PlayStation 5's Kraken architecture and the SSD being optimized for next gen. We still have yet to see whether or not they can outperform the Xbox Series X and S on SSD speeds with optimized games for next gen, right?
What do you think is like third
Huh?
party? Are third party going to do that? Of course, first party is always going to take advantage of everything the console has to offer. Everything. Because it's not on any other console. Like the SSD first party is going to take advantage of everything the PS5 has to offer. But third party, are they going to tap into that special SSD and use some of that for those games, and then see features on the PlayStation 5 that we don't see on the Xbox?
Maybe not the controller features. Maybe not these controller features that the PlayStation 5 has. But when you think about the SSD, right? These backwards compatibility games on the PlayStation 5 didn't take in mind the API, which has been drastically changed on the PlayStation 5 to the PlayStation 4, right? That when you develop a game for PlayStation 5 at all, right, that you have to develop it with its API in mind, and that will work with the SSD. But when you built the game on PlayStation 4's API, and that they've just used techniques to bring it over to the PlayStation 5, just like the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, that you're not getting as great of performance. But when third party developers build games for the PlayStation 5, they will be taking the API of the PlayStation 5 in. They'll be using it per se because they have to, because that's how you develop for the PlayStation 5, and then that together will work in tandem with the Kraken architecture, because the game being developed for the PlayStation 5 has to utilize the Kraken architecture. Maybe not to its fullest, but when it comes to SSD, I believe it will be to its fullest. Or close.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. We want to see...
You're really, really quiet and stuttery.
Sorry. You just like bought it a little bit. I think Discord's being dumb.
Yeah, you are botting a bit.
The connection might not be the greatest. I am trying to stream and watch the stream while other people in the house are doing things too. So
yeah.
But what were we on about? SSD and like how third party will take advantage. That's good. We want that. We want them to take advantage of everything that next gen has to offer and stuff. We want just new innovation with games and just new and more amazing things are better.
Right.
Always better. Always better.
No, the PlayStation 5 compared to the series consoles, let's just say this, they do have a leg up in some ways. They are innovating differently, we'll say. The innovation of the controller on the PlayStation 5 is outstanding. It's not just a renovation, a little change here and there, don't change what isn't broken type of thing. It's a let's really take a look at our controller and can we do more? And the Xbox doesn't really have that per se. I will say with the Series X and the Series S controller, the low latency mode with that controller is, and I'm excited to test this out especially on Friday, is that I've heard it's next to none when it comes to any other Xbox controllers ever, even this Elite Series 2, that playing games like Dark Souls, Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order, yeah.
That take those that you have to have those quick move sets, and that low latency controllers just hinder the game more, and lower frames hinder the game more. But with the PlayStation 5's controller and all these features that it has, they're really cool and they're innovative. But the question now becomes, do third-party developers take advantage of these controller features, or do they brush them under the rug to conform with different platforms and not having to do extra work for just one platform?
I hope not. I hope they do some features that I think will be cool with the PS5, with the special features that the PS5 controller has, and then the series controllers, the features that are on that. I hope they utilize everything. I want that even third party. I want to utilize everything and see everything that they have to offer and have to show us that they can make.
I want them to as well. But the question is, do you think that they are going to take advantage of that? Or do you
I don't
think
know.
that they're just going to say, does it even matter if we do or not?
Sorry. I, I don't know. I think there might be some that dabble in it, but the majority, I don't think they will.
See, that's something where I'm wondering if the innovation is going to be as important as people are talking about when they say that they're in love with the PlayStation 5 controller. What game are they testing? Astrobots. They're testing the Playroom, Astrobots Playroom, which is a PlayStation 5 pack-in title, you know, that is first party.
Yeah. I hope they don't
That's
go away
something
though.
to think
But
of.
you're right. That is the thing. If third party doesn't use them, majority of third party doesn't even use the features at all, and it's just first party. Are they going to end up dropping it? These features?
Well, we could look at their track record. I'm not very sure. I'm pretty dang sure that um, most third party developers didn't use the light bar and the touchpad. Uh, Certainly not to its fullest extent with the PlayStation 4. Now they didn't drop the light bar. They did in a way. It looks a little different. Um, it's only the light bar itself is gone, but the lights under the touchpad are not gone. Um, I talked about this 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the PlayStation
Yeah.
5. But the PlayStation 5 has an advantage of being a games console that has third person, mature, over the shoulder, mature titles. People seem to like those. They have a marketing campaign next to none. People seem
Oh yeah.
to
Oh.
cling on to their marketing, you know, prowess.
Strategies and prowess. Yeah.
Your mic's being weird. It like bots in and out.
I don't know. I think it's Discord. I think it's just the internet connection.
But then like just barely it was fine because you talk like
Yeah.
I think you're talking too quiet.
I might be. I might be. But I don't know because of your mic has sometimes been a little spotty too. But let's continue, bro. Continue what you were saying, or were you done?
Well, I'm pretty close to done with the topic of the PlayStation 5, its advantages, the games that it has now compared to Xbox's games that they're going to have. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, the SSD specs saying it's gonna be good, and it shows that it's gonna be good. We also got to realize that people do care about power, and the PlayStation 5 is lacking in power compared to the Series X. It's not lacking in power overall. It's a very powerful console, but compared to the Series X,
People aren't going to be
it doesn't
ditching
have
their
as many clock in
PlayStations
it.
though. People aren't going to be ditching their PlayStations for the PlayStation ecosystem if they're heavily invested. for the Xbox. And like Boom says, and I think the same thing too, that this is going to be the biggest. There's going to be more two-system consoles in households than ever before. Two platforms, the Xbox and the PlayStation. So multiple.
Yeah, people
and even
people are going to buy both.
Of course,
with the Switch.
Lots of people have the Switch.
Well,
Switch
okay, let's actually talk about that. The fact that people are buying a PlayStation 5, they could cheaply and probably will cheaply buy a Series S and call it a Game Pass box. That's something Xbox has going for them. They don't have to ditch their PlayStation 5 and say, oh, hey, I'm no longer a PlayStation player. I'm going to jump on Xbox full board. They can dabble in Xbox every once in a while, you know? They can be like, oh, there's this Game Pass game that looks fun. I'll play on my Series S. Yeah. That the Series S isn't designed to capture the audience that cares about the high fidelity, that cares about the best of the best. It's literally not designed. It's not a thing. So when we talk about PlayStation 5's advantage, it doesn't come necessarily in the hardware, I believe. I think it comes in the software, and the gap might be bridged later if Xbox can bring out quality games, which I do think they can.
Yeah, it's like Xbox, yeah, has the power and stuff like that. But to me, I think their biggest advantage is the S, is the quote unquote Game Pass box, and they don't care. They want that. They're pushing Game Pass so hard. They want you in Game Pass, and to buy a $300 console just to get in Game Pass, that's worth it to them. And you don't have to. I think
it is.
Yeah, you don't have to leave. They wanted both. They have the best of both worlds. Phil Spencer wanted the most powerful. He wanted to be the most powerful. And he's like, we're never going to lose that title again. And I don't think they will. Especially with the backing they have now.
Yeah, I think they're already...
But with the S and have the Game Pass box and then everything else with xCloud and everything else that's going in the Game Pass, they're attacking it multiple fronts.
Yeah. So, next gen isn't just about PlayStation. It's not just about Xbox. Next gen isn't just about Nintendo, which there are rumors that Nintendo is going to be releasing a Switch Pro, quote unquote, next year, you know, in the spring possibly. Those, we don't know 100% what's going to happen with that. But even that, next gen is not just about them. Next gen's about Google, Amazon, you know?
Options.
Amazon's Luna.
Yeah, like I said, it's a simple thing. Next gen, you can tone it down to one word: options.
Yeah, next gen's going to bring you options. Doesn't have to be Xbox. Doesn't have to be PlayStation. Doesn't have to be Nintendo, because there are people no hardware. If you want hardware, you're not gonna subscribe to Google Stadia or, you know, Luna, Amazon Luna. But we can move on to something else in the news about the whole Google Stadia. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, let's just let everyone know what's going on with the Stadia is coming back into the news.
Yeah, well, so Stadia wants more people on its platform. This is very obvious. They say they are thinking, and I believe this is a lot in line with what Xbox is doing with their Game Pass mantra model, and not in the way you think. They say Game Pass is the hub, right? We get that. People are subscribed to Game Pass. What can we add in there to keep them subscribed, right?
Yeah.
What can we add in there? How can we bolster Xbox through Game Pass? Xbox itself as a brand through Game Pass, which is a subscription that people love. Well, who doesn't love YouTube, right? You might not really care for Google Stadia, but who doesn't love YouTube?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have, they already subscribe. They already have a subscription to YouTube Premium. They have the ad free. They have to be able to lock and still listen to videos on their phone. They have YouTube Music or Google Play Music, which is going to be gone here soon, axed, per se. So I log
Sadly.
into YouTube today. Oh, I just get on YouTube. I'm always logged in on my phone, and a banner pops up. Keep in mind, I have YouTube Premium, right? They are giving away Google Chromecast and the controller, and 1 month. 1 month. Can you still hear me?
You cut out, but yeah, I can hear you.
It's because my headset's gonna die here in a second, but
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up.
well, yeah, we can wrap it up. I could always plug it in the USB cable. Anyways, I was on YouTube and a banner pops up and they're giving away free Google Stadia, Chromecast and controller and 1 month subscription to Google Stadia Pro, right? This is also a way to get you subscribed into Google Stadia and almost like forget about it like any other subscription. Hey, here's something free.
Yeah.
So anyone with YouTube Premium can take up that option. That's something they're doing to try to keep people in.
Try to get new people in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing new people in.
Yeah, it's a lot better. That's pretty cool. I think you get a free controller, right?
That's a
Chromecast?
$99. The Chromecast and controller is $99.
Okay, yeah.
And 1 month of Google Stadia Pro or whatever, which is just the subscription. It's the non-free tier of the subscription. Because there is a free tier of the subscription where you can buy games. And then the Pro tier you get some free games.
Here's the thing, though. I think they're trying, and they're trying to do things what Game Pass has, but they don't have what Game Pass has games. They don't, unless they get a lot of these huge, big games, big named games like Xbox has gotten on. Like Xbox just bought Bethesda, all their games are going in there, but they have third-party games that have gone in there before, huge third-party games. I think that's what Stadia needs. That's what they need. They need the games, and they can try to do as much promos as they want, but until they've got the games, it's you're not going to attract gamers unless you have games. It's just simple.
You're right. It's very true. You need games in order to be a gaming platform. But they're holding on to hope that the games are coming,
Yeah, okay. So we look at Microsoft and Xbox and the stuff. Oh, the games are coming. The games are coming. Years, and that was years ago that we've been kept saying that, and it's now that we've just gotten enough. We've gotten the studios that we need, that Xboxes need. They've gotten the studios they need, and now they're working on the games. And then what is Stadia? What do we know that they've got down in the pipeline? Do we know?
They haven't announced any games first party, but they have announced that they're working on first party games, and they've announced lead roles, like people who are in lead roles of the game.
You cut out, bro. I think his mic died. Yeah, well, like I said, it just comes down to games. You gotta have the games, and we don't know very much about what games they have. We're like, oh, we got some working down the pipeline, but games take a while to make. They take a long time to make, And right now, Xbox is just getting to that point where they've got a lot of studios, and the promise is really starting to show now, but it's still even not yet here. And with Stadia, we got, it's going to be a long time before that really starts to gain footing, I think. And that they've got to start with showing us the games, showing us what they have in store, what we can expect, get us excited, get us to need Stadia, to want, to need to be on Stadia to play these games. But without that, it's not going to be as viable, and it's going to take a while for them to gain their footing and to get to that point.
We'll see how that works, especially with the whole Luna thing. Amazon's Luna coming in, trying to disrupt the industry as well.
It's the same
competition.
What do they have?
Well,
have they announced any games or studios?
No, but they also haven't been. They haven't been out in the public for a year.
Yeah.
Like Google Stadia, November 2019.
A year, holy cow. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's 2020, November 2020. So I think Amazon, in a way, has less to prove. They have a lot to prove, but Google has more to prove because it's been a whole year. And what have they done in this year with Stadia? Not much. But we'll see. The future of gaming could be cloud gaming, and the future of gaming is gonna be cloud gaming. We know this.
Yes, but I don't think hardware's going away. Hardware's not going to go away. It's just going to be cloud gaming's just going to enhance your experience. I think no matter where you're at.
Yeah, cloud gaming will enhance this experience. And also some people will rely on it completely. It just depends. It's options, like you said. But let's move on. I want to add into every podcast. Let's do a power your meme segment. Instead of powering your dreams, powering your memes. I'm kind of stealing this a little bit, taking it from Xbox, but there's a lot of memes that show up in gaming culture, and I want a segment on the Brothers in Arms Gamecast talking about memes that are relevant. Okay,
we could go through that. I'd have to get that up, dude. and we can improve that and work on that and make it better by so that you can show everybody what the meme is. But yeah, I like that idea, bro.
Anyways, there's a meme. There's a meme right now, okay, about the Xbox and it smoking. The Xbox is smoking. People are getting their Xboxes at home, and they're taking videos of literal smoke coming out of their Xboxes, and people are like, "Are your Xboxes overheating? Are they pretty much blowing up inside, right?"
Vaping, just vaping,
What it is people are blowing vape into their Xbox Series X.
That was a joke, right? But it's right. Oh my gosh.
No, people are vaping and blowing it into the top of the Xbox Series X and watching it come up, right? So this actually, Xbox's Twitter, actually posted a post today that says, let me find it.
It's a humidifier, babe, or bro. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a humidifier. Anyways, they posted saying, "We didn't know we'd ever have to actually tell people this, but please do not blow vape into your Series X."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty funny.
Incredible.
So that's a meme, and that's a spoken explanation of the meme. So if we can get it set up to have memes on the video feed, but that's we can't believe we have to say this, but please do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox Series X. Okay. That's
I can't believe.
how are your memes?
I can't believe they have to say that.
Right. Gaming
No,
memification,
oh,
Brothers
bro.
Arms memes.
Yeah. Uh,
um
it's a humidifier as well. You get a gaming box and a humidifier. There.
yeah. It's a fridge as well as a
Yep.
gaming box and a humidifier. And then if you want to get the other model, you can have a frying pan or a boombox,
Yep. Yep.
as
Just
well as
s-
a fan, a
multiple
heater or a
use.
fan,
Yeah,
or a
multiple use
skyscraper.
consoles.
Yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be a segment we'll add in. I have one more thing that I wanted to touch upon that's just slight. It's nothing big. It's just something that did pop up in the news here recently that we haven't talked about that someone might be interested in.
Yeah. What is it, bro?
So, Apple TV is now on Xbox. The only console where you can actually watch Apple TV is Xbox. It's not, they're not focusing on TV or the Xbox Series X. In fact, you can't even do the HDMI in, with your cable box.
Yeah.
But streaming services aren't going away like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, and Apple TV is now on Xbox. It's just added. It's just something. If you subscribe to Apple TV, you can use it on your Xbox One or Series consoles. And I don't believe Nintendo or PlayStation have this.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
A little surprising, especially after the debacle with not being able to get xCloud on iPhones. A little
yeah.
surprising,
Well,
but hey,
they'll keep trying.
they'll keep trying. They'll figure it out a way, even if they got to go through the browsers. But
Right,
they'll do it.
exactly.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. It's they're doing so much. They're trying to touch on everyone, what everybody likes, what everybody wants, give everybody options, and yeah, it's just options. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's just this generation is options,
Next gen is options.
and it's amazing.
Well, we can wrap it up here, and we can get to the what have we been playing segment if you want.
Yeah, yeah, it's been an hour and a half or a little less than that, but uh, I've been playing Middle Earth Shadow of War. Yeah, that's what it is. Middle Earth Shadow of War. Started playing out on my PC, and it's really fun. I played Shadow of Mordor before, and I had a lot of fun with that. Which I might go back and finish that, and then finish Shadow of War. But other than that, Civilization 6, a little bit of that, and a little bit of the Long Dark, but not much.
Anybody, no, anyone who knows Crazy Mate Gaming would know. I'm gonna tell you this now. He loves the Civilization series,
I do.
and Civ 6 is Civ 5 and 6 are his favorite Civilization games. And yeah, that's all I want to say.
It's just a relaxing, casual. It's my go-to. But and that's it. That's all I really been playing. Haven't been playing much. Been really busy. So, what about you, bro?
Okay, so since we missed last week, I could talk about what I played before, but I haven't been playing it recently. Um, like I said before to everyone that I was on a Call of Duty craze. That's wind down. It's gone. It might come back whenever I decide to buy Cold War. Who knows when? It's not going to be this Friday. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, so I played some on Halloween with my wife. We played Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Zombies, and it was fun because she does not like zombies at all, and she's scared of them. And I
It's
played
fun.
that on Halloween with her, and then I started playing Re-Reckoning, which I bought, and I do think it looks pretty good on the Xbox One X. I could definitely tell the HDR compared to no HDR, just the standard color set on the Xbox 360 and the PC compared to the HDR on my TV and the Xbox One X. I could definitely tell the difference. It looks good. It's beautiful. I'm going to keep playing that game for now. Probably play it on my Series S, although I will be jumping away from that game to play games like Ori on my Series S when it comes on Friday. I played Unravel last night with my wife. That's a game we like to play together. Unravel 2, 1 and 2. They're fun indie games. They're on EA Play. I bought 2 in 2018, Unravel 2, because that's when it came out. And I never played the original Unravel, but that is now part of EA Play, and me and my wife will play that one as well. But I do plan on trying out games, all sorts of games on my Series S, and we'll talk about that next week. But
Heck yeah, bro.
that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been playing and gaming.
Heck yeah, sounds fun. I especially want to get into Re-Reckoning again because Reckoning is one of my favorite. I love Reckoning, and to play that enhance and boost, just yeah, I want to definitely want to do that. But yeah, that's it. Is that it, bro?
Yeah, that's it. This has been the Brothers in Arms with Crazy Mate Gaming and Infinite AA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, and anybody who watches it on Backplay or Rewind, thank you.
I
Leave
do
a
want
like
to say,
and subscribe.
yeah,
What were you gonna say, bro?
I do want to say, enjoy next gen. Like, I
Yes.
don't know when everyone's gonna get the consoles, but I know a lot of people have set a lot of time and money for these new consoles. I want to say, let's jump into next gen together. You know, let's be gaming buddies
Heck
in
yeah.
and not be against each other. Doesn't matter if you play PlayStation, doesn't matter if you play Xbox, doesn't matter if you play PC, doesn't matter if you play Nintendo. I don't care if you're on Amazon Luna or if you're on Google Stadia. We're gamers at the end of the day. And let's
Yeah.
play games, talk about games. Like, obviously, if you can't tell, me and Crazy Mate over here love Xbox and we're a little biased towards Xbox, but we're not trying to be biased in our gaming talk. We play
Yeah.
more Xbox, so it's
We
going to
play more
show.
Xbox. We're not. We try to look at both perspectives and try to have an open mind about everything and not look at it on the lens of bashing the other console. Definitely not that. We don't like the console war stuff. Uh, we love games, and if you're a gamer and you play games, we're gonna want to talk to you, and we're gonna love talking to you, and just yeah, enjoy gaming. Enjoy your games, no matter if you're not switching over to next gen or whatever game you're playing. Enjoy it. Just enjoy gaming because it's supposed to be fun and supposed to be enjoyable, not toxic and destructive.
Exactly. And with the whole next gen truly here, whether you're joining us in next gen or not, or whether you're gonna keep playing the games and the consoles and the
Whether you,
platforms, like PC that you've been playing, I don't really care.
whether you're gonna
Let's
stay behind
get
like a
excited
pleb
about
like me, stay behind
games
like a
for
like a
now.
pleb like me. Yeah,
Well, you got your
I
PC
do. I
with the
I'm
2060.
grateful. I can game and it's
Oh, 1080.
yeah 10. Yeah, it does the job. It's good and I have a lot of fun. So that's all that matters.
Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Thanks for joining, guys. Sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Uh, come join us. Thanks.
Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah, Mountain Standard Time. See ya. Thanks.
See
Bye.
ya.